Bienvenidos a la clase de Español 2, estudiantes. Esta es lección 10.3b. This is Spanish 2, 10.3b. Here's what we're going to do in the lesson today. We're going to do our homework review, so I hope you've got your homework done. If you have not finished your homework, go ahead and stop the lesson right now and get your homework done. So we're going to do our homework review. We're going to review Juan 4:34 for our versículo. We're going to do some country review. We're going to look at our international food vocabulary, and we're going to do two new grammar concepts today, present subjunctive and indirect command. So let's get right into it. Let's take a look at that homework that you did last night. La tarea de anoche, last night's homework, was from your cuaderno, página 178 a 179, ejercicio 2 y 3, 178, 179, exercises 2 and 3, el imperativo, la forma nosotros. This is the softened request form, and we went over this in our previous lesson. Actividad A. Your friends are trying to decide what they are going to do this weekend. Write their suggestions in the nosotros imperative form. So remember, this is like we are saying, let's do this. Look at número uno. Ir a la playa is to go to the beach. So the nosotros command form would be, let's go to the beach. And that would be, vamos a la playa. Now, some Spanish speakers might use the form vayamos a la playa. Vayamos, that's fine too. I think most often what we're going to hear is vamos a la playa, let's go to the beach. Número tres, salir a testificar, to go out and witness. So what are we saying here? Let's go out and witness. This one is salgamos a testificar. Remember, we build the command form in the nosotros from the regular yo form. You know the yo form for salir is salgo. IR verb, so we use an A ending with the nosotros, and we get salgamos a testificar. Número 5, ve el video de Sheffy. Let's watch the Sheffy video. That would be, veamos el video de Sheffy. Veamos el video de Sheffy. Let's look at or let's watch the Sheffy video. Número 7, caminar por el parque. Caminar is to walk, so that would be, let's walk through the park. Caminemos por el parque. Again, if you have any questions, make sure that you've marked your answers in red, any corrections in red, so that you can ask me if you have any trouble. Remember, we want you to understand why you missed, what you missed. And then the next activity is B. Write suggestions in response to the following comments. The modelo, estoy aburrido, I am bored. Well, there are several things that we could say. Juguemos would be one of them. So your answers might vary here a little bit, but let's make sure we understand what's being said, and then maybe you can check some of your answers with me later. Tenemos hambre. We are hungry. So one possible suggestion we would have would be, comamos una pizza. Let's eat a pizza. Comamos una pizza. Let's eat a pizza. Notice it's the nosotros form of comer, but because it's a command form in the nosotros, we switched to comamos. Número 3. Rosita está enferma. Rosita is sick. So what might we command there? One possible option would be, let's visit her. Visitémosla. Let's visit her. Or we could say, visitemos a ella. You could take that a ella and change it to the direct object pronoun la and say visitémosla. Or you could say visitemos a ella. Número 5. Tenemos sueño. We are tired. So what should we do? Durmamos. Let's sleep. Or we could say tomemos una siesta. Let's take a nap. I do want you to notice here, though, with durmamos, if you use dormir, sleep, remember that dormir is an IR verb. As an IR verb, even though dormir is an O to UE stem change, it will not have that full stem change in the command form of the nosotros. So instead of O to UE in the command form nosotros, it just becomes O to U in the command form of nosotros. That is why we have durmamos, let's sleep. Número 7, queremos comer pollo. We want to eat chicken. Okay, sounds good to me. What is a suggestion we could make? Comámoslo. Let's eat it. Comamos is the command, let's eat. The lo there is the direct object pronoun, it, which refers to chicken, masculine singular pollo. So we use masculine singular lo as the pronoun to replace it. And then you remember your placement rules. Direct object pronouns get placed at the end of affirmative commands. That's where we get comámoslo. Let's eat it. Comámoslo. Okay? Ejercicio 3. Vamos a plus infinitivo with the affirmative command. So rewrite these answers to the previous activity, the ones that we just did. We're going to use the structure vamos plus a plus the appropriate infinitive that we used from the sentence. So, número uno, let's look back. Número uno, we had comamos una pizza. So let's use ir plus a plus infinitive. We know that the infinitive here for comamos would be comer. So if we were doing this one, the answer would be vamos a comer pizza. Vamos a comer pizza. Let's eat pizza. Número tres, if we did this one, we know that our verb is visitar, to visit. So número tres would be vamos a visitarla. Let's visit her. Vamos a visitarla. Número cinco, from the previous activity, we had durmamos. Let's sleep. We know that the infinitive for durmamos would be dormir. So here we could just say, for número cinco, we could just say, let's sleep. Vamos a dormir. And that works the same way. And then our last one, if we look back at número siete, comámoslo. Let's eat it. So that one would be vamos a comerlo. Vamos a comerlo. So really it depends on what you did for the previous exercise, how you came up with the way to use ir plus a plus the infinitive en ejercicio 3. Si ustedes tienen preguntas, tú puedes llamarme con tus preguntas. If you have questions, you can call me with those questions. Make sure you have your questions marked in red so that you know what you need to ask about. Remember, we always want you to understand why you missed what you missed. Moving on, el versículo de esta lección es Juan 4:34. Let's practice this together.
Capítulo 10, versículo. Juan 4:34. Jesús les dijo, mi comida es que haga la voluntad del que me envió y que acabe su obra.
Excelente. ¿Cuál palabra nos falta aquí, clase? La palabra que nos falta es voluntad, will, voluntad. Y aquí, ¿cuál palabra nos falta? Es acabe, finished, completed, acabe. Y número 3, ¿qué nos falta? Es haga, to do, haga. Número 4, les, them, les. Número 5, comida, my food, my bread, my meal, comida. Okay, we've been talking about Córdoba y Granada. I hope you've taken time to take a look at the video that's in my playlist that goes over Córdoba, Spain. I think there's some very interesting things there. If you haven't done that yet, take a look. It talks about the magnificent mezquita. I think there's some really interesting information that you'll enjoy there that will help you get a better understanding of these two great southern Spanish cities. ¿Cuál es la capital de Cuba, clase? La Habana. La capital de Panamá. Panamá. La capital de Chile. Santiago. La capital de Uruguay. Montevideo. La capital de Paraguay. Asunción. La capital de Guatemala es Guatemala. La capital de Honduras, Tegucigalpa. La capital de El Salvador, San Salvador. La capital de Nicaragua es Managua. Costa Rica, San Jose. Las especialidades, we've been talking about different menu items. We've read this a couple of times, this dialogue, este diálogo con las dos chicas, with the two girls who wanted to try different things at different Spanish restaurants. And we went through and talked about several different dishes. We talked about several dishes from Spain, from Mexico, from the Caribbean. We talked about dishes from Nicaragua, Colombia, Argentina, y Uruguay. Make sure that you've watched those I have those recipe videos at the end of my playlist on YouTube where you can see a lot of native Spanish speakers making these typical dishes from their country, and I think you'll enjoy those. So if you haven't watched those, make sure that you click through my Spanish 2 playlist and see those videos there. I think you really will enjoy those. I also had a video for you about mate. Remember, we talked about mate being that tea beverage that's very popular in many different Spanish-speaking countries, especially in South America. We talked about the yerba mate, which is the leaves, the spices or the leaves that are used to make the mate, and then the bombilla, which is that special straw that has the filter on the end of it, and that's how they drink that mate. With the homework, we reviewed the nosotros imperative form. Remember, that's like saying let's do something. Always remember, you form the imperative from the yo form of the regular indicative. Then you drop the ending, and you use the opposite infinitive ending to form the nosotros. Of course, we said you can also use the ir más a más infinitivo, vamos a plus your infinitive, and that means the future, that means the nosotros command as well. Vamos a comer right here, let's eat. Vamos a cantar, let's sing. But make sure that you would say no comamos. You would not say no vamos a comer, let's not eat. We wouldn't use ir más a más infinitivo in the negative to form the negative command there. So today's new material will be el modo subjuntivo, the subjunctive mood. And in your English classes, you've talked about the subjunctive mood. And so, of course, we talk about it in Spanish as well. There are 3 moods in Spanish, just like in English. Now, the tense of a verb is when. It's the time that the action takes place. But the mood or the modo is the speaker's attitude toward the subject. So it really tells us the thoughts and the feelings of the speaker as he is using the verb. So there are 3 main moods in Spanish. We have the indicative, which is the plain old bologna sandwich conjugation that we've been working on in Spanish 1 and for most of Spanish 2. That's the indicative. Then we have the imperative mood. The imperative mood is the command form, and that's what we've been talking about for the last several lessons, when we would give a command or a strong suggestion. And then the last one, the one that we're going to begin talking about today, is the subjunctive mood, el subjuntivo, el modo subjuntivo, the subjunctive mood. And if you remember from English class, you'll remember what the subjunctive mood does. Let's review the different modes that we've already studied. The indicative mood reports facts objectively. Marisa tiene 3 hermanos. Marissa has 3 brothers. Just the facts. We are just saying what is true there. The imperative form, which we've just come off of studying, is used to give commands or strong requests. Vengan ustedes conmigo, por favor. You all come with me, please. Okay, so there is a strong command that's going on there, and we talked about how to form that imperative mood. But the subjunctive has a little bit different use than the imperative would. The subjunctive mood is used to express information in a more subjective. It can express someone's attitude or someone's will concerning an action or state. Look at this example. Queremos que ustedes vengan con nosotros. We want that you all come with us. This first expression here is a strong expression of attitude or will. It's what we want. We want you all to come with us. So this strong expression of will is what triggers the subjunctive to be conjugated this way here. Vengan. Ustedes vengan. Insisto en que Marisa haga su tarea. I insist that Marissa do her homework. Yo insisto. That strong attitude or emotion causes the second clause, que Marisa haga su tarea, causes that clause to be in the subjunctive mood. It can reflect whether one views an action or state as doubtful or unlikely. If something is contrary to reality or is unlikely to happen, then we would use the subjunctive as well. Look at the one right here at the bottom of the screen. Puede que Tabaré ya tenga suficiente dinero. Puede que is an expression that it could be, it might be, that Tabaré already has enough money. Not sure, but it's possible. And that idea of doubt is what triggered the subjunctive to be used right there in the dependent clause, the subordinate clause. Tenga suficiente dinero. Es imposible que usted sepa eso. Es imposible. It is impossible for you to know that you could know that. Es imposible gives high doubt. It is doubtful. It is not a possible thing that you could know this. So this contrary statement here in the independent clause is what triggered the second clause to be conjugated in the subjunctive mood. Es imposible que usted sepa eso. And of course, that sepa, you know, is a form of the verb saber, to know, as in facts and information. And finally, the subjunctive mood can indicate that one sees an action or state as imaginary or non-existent. This goes back to contrary to reality, a figment of the imagination, something that no es actual. It is not real. No conozco ningún libro que tenga esa información. I am not familiar with any book that has this information. I'm basically saying that this book doesn't exist. No conozco ningún libro. I don't know of any book that has. So that doubt that this would actually exist is what triggers the subjunctive conjugation in the second clause, tenga. Niego que Ricardo sea un estudiante malo. I deny, I'm flat out denying, it is not true. Yo niego que Ricardo sea un estudiante malo. I deny that Richard is a bad student. There's not a chance in the world. If you say he's a bad student, that is, and here's the catch, that is contrary to reality. So that first clause, I deny, tells me that the second clause is contrary to reality, is a figment of the imagination, it is non-existent, and for that reason, this verb, ser, had to be in the subjunctive mood, el modo subjuntivo. Now, what's another use of the subjunctive? Well, we can also use the subjunctive to show indirect commands. It can be used under certain specific circumstances. Indirect commands are the expression of one person's will regarding the actions of another. And this is very similar to what we just went over. Look at this sentence right here. Quiero que usted venga. Quiero que usted venga. I want what? You to come. I want you to come. This is a strong expression of emotion. Quiero que. It is what I want. So I know that that second clause, the second clause right here, is going to have to be in the subjunctive mood because the first, the independent clause, gave that strong will or emotion. Look at the second one. Deseo que usted me conteste. I desire that you answer me. Now I could just give the command form, contésteme, answer me, and that is the command. But I could make it a little bit more indirect, and I could say, I desire that you answer me. And that is a little bit less, I guess maybe it's a little softer, it's a little more polite than answer me, contésteme. Deseo que usted me conteste. I desire that you answer me. Look at the next two examples. Again, this first column is the direct command, that's the stronger one, and then the second column is the one that's a little bit more softened. It's a little more, this is what I want, not quite the command. So, no lo hagas, don't do it, no lo hagas. But in the second column, yo insisto en que no lo hagas. I insist that you not do it. So it's a little bit different. Comprémoslo, the last one. Comprémoslo, let's buy it. Let's do it. Comprémoslo. But it could be a little bit softer, a little more indirect if we said, quiero que lo compremos. Quiero que lo compremos. I want us to buy it. Right? So indirect command there, that would be the clue in the first clause that the second clause would need to be in the subjunctive conjugation. Continuing here on this slide, indirect commands are made by preceding the command with an expression of volition. You see that in each of those indirect commands. Quiero que, I want that. Deseo que, I desire that. Insisto en que, I insist that. The verb form used after such expressions is called the subjunctive. So we have those expressions of voluntad, or will. So the verb form that's used after those expressions of will needs to be in the subjunctive form. Look at the following points 1 and 2 about indirect commands. The verb in the first clause expresses will. The verb in the second clause is in the subjunctive. Remember, this is important. Notice that in this context, with these indirect commands, that second clause that's going to be in the subjunctive is going to be introduced by que, and we see it here. Que. Quiero que usted venga. Deseo que usted me conteste. Insisto en que no lo hagas. Quiero que lo compremos. So I've got an expression of will plus que then my verb after that is going to be in the subjunctive. The nice thing is, you've already learned the forms of the subjunctive because, wait for it, it's conjugated the same way as the imperative. Look at that note right here on the bottom of the slide. This is a lifesaver for us. You learned the forms of the subjunctive when you studied the imperative. Since all but the two in the vosotros affirmative commands, they use the present subjunctive. So, no problem. The present subjunctive is the same as the command form. So what does it look like? Most verbs derive the present subjunctive form, and here we go, this is review, from the stem of the first person singular yo of the present indicative. The endings below then are added to the stem. So the endings for AR verbs would be es, hemos, en. For ER and IR verbs, it would be a, as, a, amos, an. You see those right here. For AR verbs, es, hemos, en. For ER and IR verbs, a, as, a, amos, and an. Let's see some examples of these. Hablar, to speak. Now remember, we go right to the yo form of the present indicative, which would be hablo. Then we drop the o ending. We're left with the stem hable. Since it's an AR verb, we are going to use es, hemos, en. See right down the list there. Hable, hables, hable, hablemos, hablen. For decir, we go to the yo form of the present indicative, which is digo. We drop the o ending, and we're left with the stem dig. Then, because it's an IR verb, we use these endings, a, as, a, amos, an. So we have diga, digas, diga, digamos, digan. Very simple. Volver is the same thing. The yo form is vuelvo. We drop the o, and we have vuelve. Here we can see why it's very important that we use the yo form, because we get that stem change in there, that o to ue stem change. So we have vuelve, and then because volver is an ER verb, we are going to use these endings. So we have vuelva, vuelvas, vuelva, volvamos, vuelvan. Again, right here, I hope you remember that the nosotros form does not get the stem change. We don't get the stem change for AR and AR and ER stem changes. They don't happen in the nosotros form. Let's look at sentir. Sentir is an interesting one because it's an IR verb that has an E to IE stem change. IR verbs get a little bit different form, but we'll look at it in just a second. The yo form, regular yo form, is siento. We drop the o, we're left with sient. Then because it's an IR verb, we're going back to this second list here. IR verbs get a, as, a, amos, and an. So we have sienta, 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 sintamos, and sientan. And here's the nosotros form. Do you recall that for IR stem changers, the nosotros form only gets the first letter of the stem change? I'll say that again. For IR stem changers, the nosotros form will get the first letter of the stem change. So this verb sentir, which is normally an E to IE stem changer, which is fine, that's no problem. We have to keep in mind that in the nosotros form of the command, it only gets the first letter of that stem change, students. Just E to I there. So we have sintamos instead of sientamos or instead of sentamos. It does get that first letter of the stem change. All right, let's take a look at the last one because the same type of thing is happening here with dormir. Dormir, to sleep, we have the regular yo form is duermo. Got that O to UE stem change in there, right? Then we drop the O and we're left with the stem duerm. And then because it's an IR verb, we use this set of endings. And we have duerma, duermas, duerma. There it is again. Remember, IR verbs only get the first letter of the stem change in the nosotros command form or the subjunctive form. So durmamos and then duerman. Remember that irregular stem change for IR verbs. The nosotros form in the subjunctive just gets that first letter. That means any IR verb that is E to IE in the nosotros form of the subjunctive will be E to I. And any IR verbs that are O to UE stem changers in the nosotros form would only be O to U. Okay? Now remember, the AR and A, this is all that we talked about right here, so we don't need to go over all of that. But I do want to point out those spell changes. Remember, be careful with those spell changes. If you have a CAR verb and the ending would get changed to an E, remember that that C has to change to a QU before an E. So CAR would become que, ques, que, quemos, cane. Same thing for GAR. The GAR would become ge, ges, ge, gemos, and gain. And then the same thing for ZAR. The Z then would become se, ses, se, semos, and same. Be very careful with those stem changes. Remember, you've got to maintain the sound of the infinitive. So like for the verb tocar, to touch or to play, in the infinitive, that verb, that sound, that C says k, 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 tocar. So when we change that E, that A to an E ending, if we didn't change that C to a QU, it would say Jose, and we don't want that. We want toque. Keep that k in the infinitive. All right, and then the last thing here on this slide that we need to talk about is the irregular forms. And there are some that are just flat out irregular, but you remember, generally speaking, you can remember most of these. If they have an oi in the yo form of the present indicative, they are likely going to be irregular in the present subjunctive. So let's look. Dar. What's the regular yo form of dar, clase? It's doi. Because it ends in oi, I'm not going to use that doi yo form to form my infinitive, and I just have to memorize this. De, des, de, demos, and dein. Look at estar. What's the regular yo form of estar, clase? Estoy. Because it ends in oi, I can't use that yo form to form my present indicative. So I just have to memorize estar. And it's este, estes, este, estemos, estén. For ir, what's the regular yo form for ir, clase? It's voy. And since it ends in oy, I can't use that to form my present subjunctive. So I have to use what's here and I have to memorize it. Vaya, vayas, vaya, vayamos, vayan. Now let's go to the last one. Ser. What is the regular indicative yo form of ser? It's soy. Since it ends in oy, I can't use that to form my present subjunctive. So I have to memorize what's there on the list. Sea, seas, sea, seamos, sean. Now the only one that is an outlier here is saber. What is the regular yo form of saber? Well, it doesn't end in an oy, but it is se. That one you just have to remember. Saber, to know as in facts and information. You cannot use this to form the regular subjunctive. So you just have to memorize this one as well. Sepa, 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 sepamos, and sepan. And then the little note at the bottom. Haber is used primarily as an auxiliary verb, but the present subjunctive forms are haya, hayas, haya, hayamos, and hayan. Okay, we'll talk more about using that form a little bit later, but do know that haber, the conjugated forms in the subjunctive, are detailed there for you at the bottom of that slide. So let's practice some of these just a little bit. Actividad 2. Actividad 2 está en página, let me find it here for you. Actividad 2, página 276, 276 in your textbooks, and let's look at actividad 2. Look at the modelo, the example. Hablar en español, to speak in Spanish. So I would tell what the teacher wants the students to do. So the teacher wants the students to speak in Spanish. So let's try this one. La maestra quiere que, and there's my expression of will, of volition, right? That tells me what the teacher wants. La maestra quiere que hablen en español. Notice here, this expression of will, the teacher wants, told me that what comes after que needs to be in the subjunctive. La maestra quiere que hablen en español. The teacher wants the students to speak, or wants them to speak in Spanish. Okay, I'd like you to go ahead and do the odds. Número 1, 3, 5, y 7. Go ahead and pause the video, do those, and then we'll come back and check our answers in just a moment. Okay, I hope that went well for you. Let's go ahead and check your answers for the odds here on Actividad 2. Número 1, la maestra quiere que lleguen a tiempo. The teacher wants them to arrive on time. Remember, llegar, to arrive, but the GAR has to change to GUE. So we have lleguen. Número 3, la maestra quiere que no hablen en inglés. The teacher wants them not to speak in English. No hablen. Her volition, her will, changed hablar to hablen en inglés. Número 5, la maestra quiere que aprendan las palabras nuevas, aprendan. Y número 7, la maestra quiere que no dejen las tareas en casa, dejen. The teacher wants the students not to leave their homework at home. All right, let's look at actividad 3. Role play a family night conversation. Ask a family member for permission to do the following activities. Your partner should answer according to the information given in parentheses. Follow the model. So you'll just write these conversations out for yourself. So ask the question and then answer the question using one of those expressions of volition. Let's look at the modelo. Poner la mesa, to set the table. And we're going to do this one in the affirmative. So the question is, pongo la mesa, do I set the table? And then you will write the answer to that question using an indirect command. Sí, quiero que pongas la mesa. Yes, I want that you set the table. The expression of will there, or volition, sí quiero, I want, cause the clause poner, que pongas la mesa, to be in the subjunctive. Go ahead and do the odds here in actividad 3. 1, 3, 5, 7, y 9. Go ahead and do those odds, pause the video, get those done, and then we'll take a look at that in just a moment. Okay, I hope you did all right on those. Let's take a look at those. Check your answers. Remember to mark your corrections in red. And get myself out of the way here. There we go. Número 1. Pongo los platos. Do I set the plates? Sí, quiero que pongas los platos. Yes, I want you to set the plates or to put the plates. Número 3. Hago el postre para la cena. Do I make the dessert for dinner? Sí, quiero que hagas el postre para la cena. Yes, I want that you make the dessert for dinner. Número 3. Pongo la leche en la cocina. Do I put the milk in the kitchen? Sí, quiero que pongas la leche en la cocina. Yes, I want that you put the milk in the kitchen. Número 7. Le digo a papá que la cena está lista. Do I tell him or dad? Do I tell dad that dinner is ready? Listo, lista means ready. No, that one was negative. No, no quiero que le digas a papá que la cena está lista. No, I don't want you to tell him, or I don't want you to tell dad that the dinner is ready. Número 9. Salgo con Pedro. Do I go out with Pedro? This one's negative. No, no quiero que salgas con Pedro. No, I don't want you to go out with Pedro. I don't know who Pedro is, but poor guy just got rejected on a Spanish video. No, no quiero que salgas con Pedro. Okay? Mark your questions if you have any, and we'll check on those next time we get together. Actividad 4. Actividad 4 está en página 277, 277. There's always room for improvement in the things we do. Tell who would want these people to improve their performance. Use the model as a guide. So let's look at the modelo. Pablo toca la trompeta. Pablo plays the trumpet. So we're going to look at this from the point of view of su profesor de trompeta, his trumpet teacher. And we would say, su profesor de trompeta quiere que la toque mejor. His trumpet teacher wants that he plays it better. His trumpet teacher wants that he play it better. All right, so this expression of will, his trumpet teacher wants, is what caused this second clause, this dependent clause, to be conjugated in the subjunctive mood. All right, so you know what to do here. We're going to do the odds on actividad 4. You go ahead and pause the video, do 1, 3, y 5, and then we'll come back together and we'll check your answers. Okay, I hope that went well. Let's take a look at your answers here. Número 1. Susana cocina bien. Susana cooks well. But her dad wants that she cooks better, would want her to cook better. So we would say, su padre quiere que cocine, there's the subjunctive, cocine mejor. Número 3. Tomás juega al fútbol. Tomás plays football or soccer. Su entrenador is his trainer. Su entrenador quiere que juegue mejor. His trainer wants him to play better. Notice there that G-U-E at the end, we had to change that G-A-R to G-U-E to keep the G sound of the infinitive jugar. Su entrenador quiere que juegue mejor. Y número 5, tu amiga francesa. Tú hablas francés. You speak French. But your friend who's French, your French friend, that's hard to say, your French friend wants you to speak better. Tu amiga francesa quiere que hables mejor. Remember, that wouldn't be hablas, it would be hables because it's the subjunctive. This friend's desire or expression of will is what causes that second clause to be in the subjunctive mood. A few more activities here. Actividad 5. Tell what you would like the following people to do. Be creative. So here we are using the indirect command. So let's look at the modelo. Mi hermano, my brother. Quiero que mi hermano me preste su radio. I want my brother to loan me his radio. Notice it says me. I want my brother to loan me his radio. Quiero que. There's my expression of will. Quiero que. And then this has to be in the subjunctive because of that expression of will. All right, I'd like you to do 1, 3, y 5. Come up with a good suggestion for each of these. What would you like mi padre, my dad, to do? What would you like mis amigos, my friends, to do? What would you like mi perro to do? You can start each of these with quiero que, I want. And then put the person's name, or the person's, who the person is, mi padre, mis amigos, whoever that is, and then what it is you want that person to do, and make sure to use the subjunctive. All right, go ahead and pause the video, get those 3 sentences written, and then we'll take a look at those here in just a second. All right, let's see how you did on those. Just 3 of them. Hope you got some good suggestions here. Número 1, quiero que mi padre, I want my dad to do whatever. You could say, I want my dad to buy a new car. Quiero que mi padre compre un carro nuevo. The important thing with each of these guys is that after this, after what's here for 1, 3, and 5, that you have that verb in the subjunctive form. Quiero que mis amigos me den dinero. I want my friends to give me money. Quiero que mi perro me dé el periódico. I want my dog to give me the newspaper. But the important thing is that that second clause be in the subjunctive mood. Actividad 6. Actividad 6 is going to deal with mandatos indirectos. Some common expressions of volition. These are just some common triggers. Remember we talked about the expression in the first clause is going to trigger that subjunctive conjugation in the second clause. Well, here are some of those expressions. So you will see these and you need to recognize these as triggers that will cause the subjunctive to exist in the second clause. Deseo que. I desire that. You can tell that that is an expression of volition or will. Exigen que. It is necessary, or they demand that. 4 teachers attend the meeting. Mi padre insiste en que, to insist on something. Necesito que, I need that something. Permiten que, to permit. Pido que, to ask that, to request. That one would trigger the subjunctive in the second clause as well. Prefiero que, to prefer. Prohíben que, to prohibit. Se oponen a, to oppose something. Recomiendan que, to recommend something. That would also trigger the subjunctive in the second clause. Ruegan que, to beg for something. Sugiero que, to suggest something. And manda que, to command that or to demand that. So each of these are expressions here, you see them listed, that would trigger that subjunctive conjugation in the dependent clause. And you will see with each and every one of these, we have used that subjunctive conjugation because that first clause, that first expression of volition or will, causes us to need that subjunctive conjugation in the second clause. Okay, so let's go on. Activity 6, and let's practice these a little bit. What is your reaction to the following situations? You may use the following phrases to express your reactions. Remember, we talked about these. Insisto en que. I insist. Prohíbo que. I prohibit. No me opongo a que. I'm opposed to. No permito que. I do not allow. Prefiero que. I prefer that. Recomiendo que. I recommend that. So each of these expressions clearly would trigger the subjunctive mood in the second clause. Look at the modelo. Mi hermana usa mi secador de pelo. My sister uses my hair dryer. If you have sisters, maybe that's something you fight over. I don't know. No me opongo a que mi hermana use mi secador de pelo. I am opposed to my sister using my hair dryer. Or you could say, no me opongo a que mi hermana use mi secador de pelo. I am not opposed to my sister using my hair dryer. So go ahead. I'd like you to do the odds here. Número 1, 3, 5, y 7. And we'll come back together after you've taken the video off pause, and we'll see how you did on these. Do the odds. Okay, I hope you didn't have too much trouble with those. Let's take a look at some of your answers here. Número 1. Insiste en que mi mejor amigo siempre me diga la verdad. I insist that my best friend always tell me the truth. Número 3. Prefiero que mis profesores repiten mis ideas. This, my dear students, is a typo on my part. I apologize. That should be the letter I. Prefiero que mis profesores repiten mis ideas. Oh, look at that. That was not repetir. That was respect. So I knew I missed something. Stop laughing at me. I know you're laughing at me. There should be an S in there on that one. I hope your parents weren't watching the video while I made my mistake there. So there should be an S right there. Oh boy. Prefiero que mis profesores respeten mis ideas. I prefer that my teachers respect my ideas. Prefiero que mis profesores respeten mis ideas. Número 5. No me opongo a que mis amigos me ayuden. I am not opposed to my friends helping me. No me opongo a que mis amigos me ayuden. Y número 7. Prefiero que mi pastor me dé consejos. And there I did it again. There should be a space between pastor and me. That should be 2 words, not 1. Prefiero que mi pastor me dé consejos. I prefer that my pastor give me advice or give me counsel. Prefiero que mi pastor me dé consejos. Y actividad 6, the last one here. Actividad 6 está en página 278, 278. In your textbook, the following people are going on vacaciones, on vacation. Sounds good. Can you recommend something to them? Start your suggestion with these phrases. And again, these phrases show your opinion or will, and that opinion or will cause the second clause to be in the subjunctive mood. Modelo. Margarita va a visitar a su primo en España. Margarita is going to visit her cousin in Spain. And then you would come along like a know-it-all, I guess. Recomiendo que Margarita se lleve un paraguas. I recommend that Margarita carry an umbrella. So what would the recommendation be for each of these? You can come up with any recommendation that would use expressions like we give you here in the instructions. Sugiero que, I suggest. Recomiendo que, I recommend. Use one of those verbs to show what you would suggest. And in the second clause, you could use verbs like llevarse, to carry or to wear, comprar, to buy, aprender, to learn, tener cuidado con, to have caution with. So use those expressions that are given to you in the instructions there and give your opinion, your recommendation, your suggestions for números 1, 3, 5, y 7. Go ahead and pause the video, do those, and then we'll come back and wrap things up. All right, so let's check your answers here for número 1, 3, 5, y 7. Hope that wasn't too hard for you. Número 1, recomiendo que tenga cuidado con el agua que beba. I recommend that you have caution with the water that you drink. Número 3, recomiendo que compren bastante película para sus cámaras fotográficas. I recommend that you buy sufficient film for your cameras that take film. Now, nobody carries cameras anymore. We all use our phones. But when this book was printed, they were still using film. So, recomiendo que compren bastante película para sus cámaras fotográficas. You all probably don't even remember. Your parents will remember. I remember being on vacation or being somewhere and running out of film for your camera, and then you couldn't take pictures anymore. So you had to make sure that you had enough película, enough film. Número 5. Recomiendo que aprenda a hablar bien el español. I recommend that you learn to speak Spanish well. Y número 7, sugiero que tenga cuidado con andar en las calles. I suggest that you have caution walking in the roads. Don't want to get hit by a car. So that's a suggestion there. Okay? Remember, if you have any questions, mark your corrections, mark your questions in red, and we can take a look at those later. So, what did we do in today's lesson? We did our homework review. We reviewed John 4:34. We did our country review with our 2 cities in Spain. We went over some food vocabulary from different countries. And then we went over the present subjunctive and indirect commands, and we did a lot of activities practicing that. So if you have any questions, let me know. As always, remember to check your homework assignment and make sure that you have your homework done for our next lesson. Que Dios les bendiga, clase. Adiós.